Want to win more in Kaldheim Limited? Stop drafting snow. Hello and welcome to the video. As always, please click like if you like it, subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and there are links in the description below where you could submit your draft logs if you'd like for me to review them in a video on this channel. So, let's get into it. Is Snow a bad deck? Absolutely not. Is Snow a good deck? Can you win with it? Of course you can. The problem is, it doesn't come together consistently enough. Sure, if you get a great rare, multiple good payoffs, and the right amount of snowlands, and the right combination of snowlands, then you're going to have a great deck. In week 1, this wasn't too hard to do. People didn't know how good the snowlands were. People didn't know how to put the decks together. Now, with everybody listening to podcasts and watching videos like this, people know to take the lands early. People are overrating the payoffs. It's very tough to navigate the draft and find out if snow is going to be open for you or not. The thing is, the best snow payoffs don't even require you to be heavy snow, or 5-color snow for that matter. Avalanche Color, Spirit of the Alderguard, and Bergstrider are all perfectly viable with as few as 3 snowlands. Here's a list of cards that severely underperform if you don't have more than 7 snowlands. Ascendant Spirit, Faceless Haven, Frostaugur, Hailstorm Valkyrie, Icehide Troll, Narfi Betrayer King, Priest of the Haunted Edge, and Sculptor of Winter. I believe that currently it's better to completely forget that snow exists rather than to try to draft towards it. Sure, if you get an Avalanche Color, you get a couple of Bergstriders, try to pick up a few on-color snowlands to support them. That'll work out great for you. But don't sacrifice real picks for them. 2-color beatdown, especially red-based decks, is where I've been having the most success currently in best of 1. Red-white, red-green, red-black, and red-blue, kind of the Giants deck, are all viable at common. Therefore, I've been defaulting to red in the draft to try to stay open. Here's a list of red commons that are all actively good in a 2-color beatdown deck. Many of these are routinely in the pack with as few as 3 or 4 cards left. Axeguard Cavalry, Breakneck Berserker, Craven Hulk, Demon Bolt, Dwarven Reinforcements, Fearless Pup, Frostbite, Immersturm Raider, Run Amok, Squash, Tormentor's Helm, and Tuskeri Firewalker. I listed 12 commons, by the way. You can go ahead and support these with a number of other aggressive commons routinely seen at the end of packs. In white, Battlefield Raptor, Besker Shieldmate, Starnheim Courser, Story Seeker, and Wings of the Cosmos. In black, Deathnell Berserker, Demonic Gifts, Jarl of the Forsaken, Carful Kennelmaster, Raise the Draugr, Skull Raid, and Way Down. In blue and green, you're still going to be relying on their marquee commons for the most part, so you won't end up there that often, but sometimes you will. Let's have a look at a couple of trophy decks that I've had success with. Here's a red-white aggro deck that went 7-1. I was at Diamond 1 at the time. This one got me to Mythic in the month of February. As you can see, we've got lots of early plays here, lots of 1-drops, double Tormentor's Helm. We got Spectral Steel, we got a Dwarven Hammer, so not quite as much equipment as we might like, but still a very aggressive start, very low curve. Our only 4-drop is Dwarven Reinforcements and I guess Stalwart Valkyrie, but this is often going to cost 2, so we went down to 15 lands, triple Axeguard Cavalry, a Fearless Liberator, a Cole, double Story Seeker, so a ton of 2-drops, double Run Amok, Rune of Speed, which is super good with these equipment, double Demon Bolt, which was pretty lucky to find these, but red was open in this draft, and then double Tuskeri Firewalker. This card is just going up and up and up for me. The fact that this draws you cards as it beats your opponent down is pretty darn impressive. And then we do have an Arnie at rare, which honestly I would be more interested in taking a Tuskeri Firewalker than an Arnie, but that's how the packs broke and we ended up with one. All right, here's a blue-red deck. This one went 7-1 at around Diamond 2. As you can see, heavily common and uncommon based. We actually have a few snow payoffs in here, so this is a great example of a deck that's utilizing Avalanche Color, Icebind Pillar, triple Bergstrider, but more in an aggressive sense where we're trying to beat down. That's where Bergstrider is going to be at its absolute best, is when you can tap a blocker, because that creature will not be able to block for 2 turns. Rather, when you're on the defensive, it's going to tap down their attacker for only 1 turn, assuming you have a snowland at all. So we're running a Highland Forest with no splash. We're running a Sulphurous Mire with no splash. So these are just snowlands to benefit our payoffs. We got a Fjord, Volatile Fjord, that's fixing us, and a couple of snow islands. So with just, 5 snowlands in the deck, we're making all of these payoffs tick without really stretching our mana base too thin and ending up in some kind of 5-color pile that's just going to get run over by aggressive decks. This deck's got double Axguard Cavalry, double Dwarven Hammer, not quite as aggressive as the one we just looked at, but triple Bergstrider at the top end and 2 Squashes is a pretty nice way to sort of finish off the game. Obviously, Agar is super excellent and a great reason to be in this deck, so if you find yourself getting past one of these later in pack 1, this might be your clue to move into blue-red if you've had a red start. A couple of surprise overperformers here. We've got Brine Barrow Intruder. People just don't play around this card because nobody runs it. And this got me out of a bunch of jams. Mists of Lityara was not very good, but sometimes you just need early interaction. But Depart the Realm, again, cheap interaction, especially in best of 1, really doing some good work for us in this deck. And then Run Ashore, if you get there to 6 mana, often the opponent concedes when you cast this if you've got any sort of board presence. So if you've already been beating them down with a bunch of Bergstriders and then you remove their 2 blockers, it's game over from there. And the last deck we'll look at here is a black-red aggro deck. This deck went 7-1 quite quickly at around the Diamond 4 rank. We've got a ton of 2-drops here. Only actually 3 2-drop creatures in Cavalry, Elderfang Disciple, which is not going to be at its best in an aggro deck, but I guess you got to do what you got to do, and Immersturm Raider. But double Demonic Gifts with a card like Elderfang Disciple is quite nice. It does a nice stand-in for Run Amok, which is the combat trick you actually really want the most. But despite even not having that good of an early curve here, we still got to a good result. Again, playing very aggressive cards. Burgi was quite good, adding extra mana, but obviously not a necessity for a deck like this. Only 1 Firewalker, but Breakneck and Berserker fills the 3-drop slot. Totally fine when you're trying to beat down. This card is useless when you're not trying to beat down, so another sort of late pickup you can grab when you're in this style of deck. The curve is not amazing here. I guess Dwarven Reinforcements sort of subs in as a 2-drop. Toralf, we just played as a 4-mana 5/4. I never cast this as the equipment. I think it's too expensive, too clunky, but 4-mana 5/4 Trample is totally fine. Carter, this card is bananas. It counts when your opponent's creatures attack you and they get blocked and they die, but it also triggers when your creatures attack and die. So you can send your whole team at them, and if they're at a low enough life total, they actually can't afford to trade with your creatures because they'll take 3 or 4 damage in the process. This card is really, really good. And then Jarl of Forsaken, again, filling our 2 slot with some more Foretell stuff. We got 4 5-drops, which doesn't feel great, but at least they are intent on beating down. Hoggy Mob is a totally reasonable top end to your deck, especially when you've got Rune of Mortality to give it Death Touch, and of course Kennel Master is going to enable some attacks to hopefully break through a board stall. Now, one of the best reasons to be in this archetype is if you see Immersturm Skullcairn early and you try to wheel it late. Having a couple of these in your deck goes a long way when your opponent is effectively 3 to 6 life lower than they are at any given time. And of course, it also taps for mana, which is super busted. I hope you found this video helpful. Please let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Have you had success with snow lately, or have you been drifting more towards a 2-color beatdown strategy as I have? Please click like if you enjoyed the video. Please click subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me. Keep your eyes on the channel for a new draft log review every day. You could submit one of your own logs in the comments below or in my Discord channel, which is linked in the description below. You can find me streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/alromusic. Until next time, bye for now.